What's up, everybody? I'm Aslan Hajavandi, joined by Michael Langston, recruiting analyst for Warchant.com. We're projecting the prospect, talking about all the signees and transfers from the 2020 Florida State recruiting class, or at least the ones who transferred in earlier on in the winter months. Use the promo code WARCHANT30 if you're not already a member of the Ultimate Seminoles Sports Source. Get on the premium recruiting board and check out all that Michael has to share when it comes to recruiting. All right, Michael, this is a guy that, in-state prospect, kind of under the radar, but then the more people started watching his tape, the more stars kind of got added next to his name and a lot more excitement started to grow. And we're talking about Manny Rodgers. He's a guy that you've got plenty of familiarity with. What excites you about his game? What are some of his strengths?
Well, I think the first thing is his athleticism is off the charts. It's ridiculous. He's a freakish athlete. I think he's played some tight end. I mean, how many people with defensive tackle play tight end? He's played some tight end. Like I said, freakish athletic, a quick hand, violent hands, gets off the line of scrimmage really well, explodes to the quarterback. He is a monster to block because of his quickness. He's got a quick first step. He gets off those blocks, and he's just a monster to handle. And a great downhill runner, can track down plays really well as far as sideline to sideline, as far as that speed goes. So those are a few things that certainly stand out about him.
He's a guy that played offensive line, but will project to the defensive line here at the next level, Michael. So a lot of things that probably help translate to that. But what are some of the things that he probably needs to add to his toolbox as he gets ready to play defensive tackle at the next level?
Well, I think the biggest thing with him, because he played offensive line, then he moved to defensive line. He played both in high school, but I think the biggest thing is technique. Obviously, at this level, you got to have more technique as far as moves, hand placement, foot placement, how you line up, how you attack, and how low you keep your body, how low you play. And Odell Higgins will certainly help him out with that, as far as technique wise. But technique's the biggest thing I see with him, because he's got skills that you can't teach with his athleticism. So that's a positive, but he will need to improve on the technique, because things in the college level are a lot different, where you're facing elite guys every day in practice. You can't just get away with that athleticism. He's going to have to work on the technique and the way different ways he can attack the offensive lineman that's blocking him. So I think technique is what I'm locked in on as far as what I want to see.
All right, let's get some further insight into the abilities of Manny Rodgers from the FSU coaching staff.
Probably one of the most impressive, builds of any player in this class. I walked into the high school, and it actually startled me when I walked up on him how big he was, and just the athleticism that you see on film. Coach Odell Higgins did as good of a job recruiting and identifying that young man early in the process. Odell's telling me when I got here he believed that this was the best defensive lineman in the state of Florida. After seeing him, after getting to know the young man. I absolutely agree with him.
All right, Michael, he's a guy that's going to be arriving later on in the process over the summer here, that we hope, once we finally get things back to close to normal. So Manny Rodgers, going to be playing defensive line. You talked about some of the technique he has to work on. So what do you think about him? Is he a redshirt candidate, or are you giving him the green light?
This is a tricky one, because they added Fabian Lovett. They added Jared Jackson. Both of them are going to play on the looks like the defensive tackle position. So on that, you would say, definitely be redshirt. But I just think this kid's such a big-time weapon as far as rushing the passer as a defensive tackle, that you're going to see him play a lot on third down. So I'm going to say green light. I think his athleticism is so good that you want him on the field in some capacity. So I think he's going to find his way to get some playing time and get on the field. I think he'll learn enough where they'll feel comfortable enough to put him on the field, because like I said, he is just a freakish athlete, guys. You don't have too many guys that are that freakish at his size coming out of high school. So he's going to add a lot to what you can do, as far as there's not too many pure pass rushers at defensive tackle like at FSU. So I think he adds a lot to that. And so I think he's a guy that will get some burn, as the young kids like to say, on the field. So I think he's a guy that I think can contribute in some way.
Manny Rodgers, 6'5", 329 pounds, listed on his bio as a signee for Florida State. Odell Higgins is definitely going to have a nice chunk of clay to mold. That's the latest on this edition of Projecting the Prospect. For Michael, I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching.